Hi there. So here we are on day one post-op. For those of you that don't know, I tore my distal bicep tendon about two and a half weeks ago when I was trying to do a planche lean. The thing about it was I was changing my hand position. I usually have my hands pretty neutral, either on parallettes or on the floor, but to get that extra lean distance, turn my hand right round so that my elbow was more exposed and open. And as I leaned forward, getting those extra few centimetres, I suddenly heard and felt this. It felt like bubble wrap just collapsing, and my arm just completely gave way, and I fell to the floor. At that moment, I thought I'd just completely broke my arm into millions of little pieces, and I was lying there sort of holding it and screaming. But strangely enough, when I sort of got myself a little bit more together, I realised there was actually no pain, and then I started to move my arm and it seemed to be okay. But then when I looked a little bit closer, I could see that the shape of the bicep was just so wrong. It had all bunched up. It become as I know, classically a Popeye look, all bulged up. And that's when I realised that something wasn't quite right. So took it inside, along with the rest of me, obviously, and iced it, did the usual protocols, ice every 2 hours for 20 minutes, and then started to do the usual, get onto Google, looking things up, and it pretty quickly became apparent that I'd ruptured or torn the distal bicep tendon, the one that attaches across from the elbow through to the arm. Really didn't know what to do next apart from seek help medically. So I didn't actually do it that day, which in retrospect maybe I should have done. But the following day I went straight to A&E, and they gave me an assessment and confirmed what I thought. And then they made an appointment. This was all through the NHS, the British health system, which is free at the point of entry. So they made an appointment for me to be assessed by a virtual fracture clinic, which I wasn't quite sure was going to process it quick enough, because I realised, in having read up, that you need to get these things sorted within a week or two, or operated on if you want to go down that route, because otherwise scar tissue tends to form on the tendon and the muscle, making it more difficult to reattach. But so in the meantime, I made a private consultation appointment with a private healthcare company, just as a little bit of insurance. But bless them, the NHS came through. On Monday, I got a text saying that I had an appointment that Wednesday with the consultant orthopaedic surgeon at our local NHS hospital, Northwick Park in near Harrow. And I went along there, and the guy there, Michael Elvey, great guy, saw it and asked me if I wanted to leave it, because apparently you can leave this. It's not terminal. According to him, you don't lose much flexion strength. What you do lose is the ability to supinate, turn the hand over, and that torsion strength. So luckily, it was my left arm that had gone. I know you're seeing it backward here, or maybe you're not, because I'm looking at it. Maybe it's not backward. Actually, I'm talking a load of rubbish. But it was my left arm that went, so it's not as if I have to use it to screw things in a lot. But then I was thinking to myself, well, if I want to get back to training, there's often positions, like when you're picking a barbell up or holding, chin-up bar, etc., where you want your hand to be in that position, twisted round. So I decided that I wanted to have the surgery, and I impressed upon him that fitness was my life, and even at my age, I was pushing it to get out there every day, doing stuff, pushing myself, and it was really, really important to me. So, he was a great chap. He agreed and said, yeah, look, we'll get you in for Monday week, which was, in essence, about 16 days. It'll be about 16, 17 days after the accident, which is about right within the 3-week period. So I was really reassured at that point that something was going to be done. In the meantime, I did loads more research as to what the rehab was like and what the surgery was like. Went through all sorts of things. Looked at a lot of you guys on YouTube that have been through similar things as well, and realised that there's a number of different routes it can go down, from huge, great big plaster casts through to jointed braces, through to this thing here, which is basically just a sling with a dressing on the wound. So it's not actually set in place. I can take this thing off quite easy. Well, let's talk about the surgery first. The surgery itself was it wasn't anywhere near as bad as I was imagining it to be. I've had some surgeries in my lifetime. I actually broke my neck when I was 15 on a gymnastic accident of all things, and that was 3 months on my back in traction, and then a year with rehab, with a neck brace and all the rest of it. So that wasn't a pleasant experience, especially the operations that I had then with the GAs, the general anaesthetics. But this time round, I must say that having the general anaesthetic was just like having a few too many drinks. Got a bit woozy, and next thing I know, I'm waking up in recovery with, I'll tell you what, no pain. Weirdly, I mean, I thought it was the morphine or the after effects, but this is the day after, and really I've got virtually no pain. I haven't had to have any pain meds. There is an ache, strangely, on the forearm here, on the bones, the radius ulnar here, but I don't know what that's from. It's nothing major. There was a little bit of numbness on the hand. I was told that there'd be some possible nerve damage or nerve impingement, or it'll take the nerves a little bit of time to settle back down. But as I say, first day, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty mobile. I can move the hand. I can pick little things up. I can manipulate. I'm not going to overdo it. Obviously, at this point, within a week, I'm going to get going back to for an assessment by the consultant, and then into rehab to get this thing moving. I mean, I can take this off quite easily and move the arm, etc. And it does go out to maybe about 60 degrees. I'm not going to push it, obviously. The tendon's there. You can feel it slightly. But, it's not as debilitating as I thought. I'll just keep it in because it keeps it rested. What's so far? What have I found difficult? Sleeping, it's okay. You're on your back pretty much with the arm rested up. You can turn over onto this side, get a pillow underneath it. It seems to be okay. It does encourage snoring, so I did find myself halfway through the night going to the other bedroom. Otherwise, my partner Heather, she would have got a bit. She's getting a little bit annoyed at that point, bless her. But that apart, fair enough. I'm pretty able to dress myself. When you can take this thing off, you can feed your arm through things, etc. You can do the basics, that the toiletries and all the rest of it, brushing teeth, even contact lenses. You've got manipulation, so keyboard skills, etc. Getting onto this thing, obviously. So all in all, at the moment, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm not down. I mean, fitness is a large part of my life, and I was really getting to the point there where not only was I managing to get the planche to a point where I was getting off the ground again after 2 years layoff. My front lever was coming on. My back lever was pretty much there. Got my muscle ups back. Handstand was coming right on. Looking to do handstand. Push ups, proper freestanding ones. So you could look at this from a negative point of view and think, shit, that's 6 months worth of work down the drain. But you know what? It's not worth going down that route. Only get you down. So, or even really today, it's less than 18 hours. I went for a 2-mile walk up the road and back. No issue. Going to get back to cardio. I was running beforehand. I actually did a half marathon on the Saturday, 2 days before the op. So my times are coming right down. Again, I'm, within a couple of 3 weeks, all being good, I'll be back out there running. Got a treadmill anyway, so I can do it easy, safely. Cardio's not going to be an issue. I've always got this arm as well, so maybe I'll go for one arm pull-ups. See if I can get that sorted. Keep this arm strong. Kettlebells with this, etc. Obviously, I'm going to be careful. You can do lots of ab work as well, off a ball, on the floor. Nothing just keep it safe. Just always bear in mind, keep it safe. You know, you're not going to want to put too much pressure on this arm for a considerable amount of time. I mean, the op itself, what they do, if you don't already know, they'll luckily with me that the tendon wasn't too far up, so they're able to make one single incision low down and then fish the tendon through. They drill a hole in the radius, the bone below, and attach I think Kevlar around the end of the tendon and a sort of button like a cufflink link that they push through and then slip round so it doesn't fall out. And then over a period of a few weeks, a month or two, that just welds into to the hole and makes it pretty solid. So I'm not going to start pushing it really, you know, anything decent weight-wise for, you know, three to 4 months. Just make sure that it's fully healed and there's no chance of it being, you know, ruptured again in any way, shape or form. So I said, all in all, you know, for me the choice was I want that full strength back. You know, whether it wasn't so much the aesthetic. Granted, it doesn't look great. I mean, I know even the surgeon told me some bodybuilders out there have had this done on purpose on both arms to get that Popeye look. To me, it wasn't the aesthetic. It was really that I wanted the full functionality back. I wanted to be able to, you know, get back to full strength on both arms, or as near as full strength. I think, you know, if you have a positive attitude about this, you know, and you take your time, don't go mad, keep as I say, keep positive, keep on it, be consistent, don't overdo it, and you know, you've got a great chance of getting back there. Look, I mean, this is day one, week one. What I'll do is weekly, every 2-3 weeks maybe, I'll put another one out here just to show you how things are going, just to keep you updated. But for now, that's it, folks. If you've got any questions, you want to know anything more about, you know, how this all hangs together, if I know, I'll answer your questions. If I don't, I'll tell you. But look, this isn't the end of the world. It's, in the grand scheme of things, it's pretty minor, just a little bit of a setback. Look, Brian Shaw did this back in 2012. He busted his same place, distal bicep tendon. You know, within 4-6 months, he was back training heavy, and you know, he went on to win the world's strongest again. There was a rock climber as well, did the same, professional rock climber, did the same thing. You know, within 4 months, he was back out there climbing up, you know, in the Rockies, blah, blah, blah. Endless stories of people who've managed to come back from this. So it's, you know, it's not terminal. I'm not debilitated in any way, shape or form. So in the grand scheme of things, you know, I'm pretty lucky. So positive mindset, onward. All right, folks, cheers.